Hi, this is Atti, Apple Atti on Tumblr, and I wanted to read to you a poem. This is a poem that doesn't have a title, that I wrote, unlike any of my other poems, to specifically be read aloud at an event. I wrote this in late January for the event I guess it must have been early February, of 2015. And I haven't shared it anywhere else, so I thought I'd read it aloud today, since that's what it was made, how it was made to be delivered, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay. Starting now. On a day of dehydrated brown leaves underfoot, in the final week of February, and the last day of a pretty decent childhood, the two of us, our feet powdering stiff bracken beneath us, walk in air that tells us that this is that one week in February when it's way colder than it was last week and way colder than it will be next week. A weird pre-vernal cough. Anyways, that's where we were, the two of us, when we became one of us. When my kid finally lost the final shred, so dissolvingly wispy that the kid thought it had been lost ages ago, of his belief in me, his imaginary friend. All these things fell away from my life, like the bottommost bricks dropping away from a foundation, like, didn't think that'd have been possible? Where would those fall to? But that's what it is to be imaginary. Those bricks were in someone else's mind. The planet the foundation had been built on was retroactively erased. It never had been, I guess? Sorry, this is hard to put into the words I'm only recently coming back into having to myself again. You know, when a real friend goes home after your play date, he has conversations with his mom that you'll never hear, and with his friends that you'll never hear. But your imaginary friend, well, I told you everything. I told you everything I told anyone else. I told you everything I told myself. I had no thoughts outside the ones that I let become part of your world. That's part of what bonded me to you, made me a form that some portion of your experience managed to congeal into, phantasmagorically. But I can't talk to you the same way now, kid. Ugh, my kid, if I did, you wouldn't hear me. Your mind's ear lost my register. Your perception of the world shed me. And I can't cause vibrations on a plane that will reach you anymore. But that's not all. I also can't talk to you in the same way now, because one of the things that made me your imaginary friend was your ability to see me in a way nothing else could see me. To comprehend me in a way invisible to the rest of the world. The whole damn rest of it. So, you know, now you've matured, shifted, commendably, into someone I wouldn't have much to say to anyways. Were you to ask me if I did anything romantic lately, for example, I'd have to tell you that, no offense, I don't feel entirely comfortable telling you. I fear you'd misunderstand, pass through those crucial invisible bits of comprehension that carry my undertones, my truth and confidentiality, and I fear that you'd then have undue power to misuse my sincerity, though certainly without any ill intent. And besides, what we define as romantic is so different now that the answers that would feel true to me would barely answer the question you meant to ask. So I mused, as I forgot how to walk beside my kid. Stumbled, couldn't catch up, weaved against physics, and found myself on a plane that denied me the very ground my kid tread. And as the hiss of my own blood in my ears became my new standard for silence, and my brain turned the disorientation down to a dismissive simmer, and my time readjusted to no kid time, so that I amiably watched as it took 4 of my months for my kid to make it to the next barren tree. The words began to sputter inside my mouth again. Infant birds in a nest, desperate fish in a net, and I heard my voice resonating in my throat, not the kid's voice, for the first time in many, many years. I'd forgotten that I'd existed before the kid, that I'd had a name. I guess just now I died an imaginary death is what I did, and I remember, or I am surprised to realize that I forgot, that I was here all along. Often invisible, yes, but here with myself nonetheless. To think I thought I was lucid while with you. I guess the brilliance of the lucidity I retained blinded me to the lucidity I'd lost. Or I could see truth, but ceased to care about it to the point of seeing through it. It's weird that in spite of all that, the big picture is still so easy to reobtain. But for a time, I really did forget the feeling that used to remind me that I was myself when I was alone, just as the kid forgot I was still here, hiding behind the past. But now turning to the world beyond an old friend's past, that of my own present. I landed a few weeks later, at my leisure, breathed in the scent of honey, played cards, called myself beautiful in the mirror, read some bedtime stories to any small animal who'd listen, and became reconstituted somewhere I'd always been, and that my kid would never in a lifetime have the notion to consider the existence of. I found myself on a train back from an airport, in transit between someone and someone, in a world so utterly mind-spinningly foreign to me that I wondered what seemed so familiar about it. Until I realized what seemed familiar, as I looked at myself mouthing words in the dark window on the far side of the train. It was me. Though my situation does at times become unabsorbably surreal, I have something that ties these estranged paradigms I visit together. Me, goddammit. I'm the constant. I remembered it. I'm the constant. The place I always am, that I already know, if I keep it together, and cannot get lost in, nor lose. No matter which worlds the winds tug me through or the falls drop upon me. I'm always going to be here. I am always going to be here. And though there I was, it took me a few hours, with my legs up on my suitcase, absent-mindedly lip-syncing, ignoring the other passengers, before I arrived at the awareness this place smirkingly held and waiting for me. But, yeah, in that quiet moment between lives, I pulled out my cell and wrote an old friend a brief message, and this I read to you now. I'm really happy all of a sudden, and I don't know why. This isn't small talk. I'm having a big moment like I'm part of the sky. Somehow, spending these past couple of weeks with you changed my brain a lot more than I expected it would. Sometimes I feel like day to day I'm flipping between similar lives in different but superficially identical universes, and sometimes I can tell when I'm in one I've never been in yet. Or something. Hope you're having a good day at work. That's my poem. Okay, thanks for listening.